Well, hello, welcome back to Work-Life Harmony. Today, I want to talk to you about something I have a love-hate relationship with, which is the whole concept of journaling. This has been a long journey for me, no pun intended. And I want to share with you, particularly those of you listening that are very think journaling is either a waste of time, you struggle with it because you're not sure how to do it, or you're just kind of thinking like I don't even understand the purpose of it. What does it mean? All of that. Journaling is something that is still fairly new to me. I've been doing it now for quite a few years, but it's not like this is something I've been doing my entire life. So when I'm talking about journaling here today, what I'm referring to is the simple act of putting pen or pencil to paper and writing things down. It can be a more of a Dear Diary experience if you want. It can be just jotting down a memory. It can be in the form of a gratitude journal where you're writing down things that you're grateful for. It could be brainstorming ideas. It could be doing visioning. So when I'm talking about journaling, I know a lot of people instantly go into the space of thinking it means, Dear Diary, here's what's happened to me today. You need to, that's the very first thing I want to do here is release you from that definition of journaling and open you to the possibility that journaling simply means writing things down on a piece of paper. Now, some people do an electronic journal, but I really want to talk specifically about pen and paper here because it is proven that if you're physically doing the writing, it has even greater benefits. So first, I want to tell you a little bit about my journey with journaling, and then I want to give you 5 reasons why it is important to actually bring this into your life. So as many of you already know, my background is I was a math major. I worked in the software IT space for over 20 years. I am very much a black and white kind of right or wrong person. While I am creative in certain areas of my life, I'm not an artist by any stretch. I was not naturally, drawn to writing or anything like that. I love solving problems, puzzles, that kind of a thing. And I was always drawn to the idea of journaling because I think it spoke to that other side of my brain. But because I am, very much a kind of list follower, rule follower, mathematically wired person, every time I would sit down to be like, okay, I'm going to start journaling, I felt like I didn't know how. I was always looking for instructions. And yes, I finally got to the point in my life where I knew, I felt like I was missing out on the fact that I wasn't journaling. So I actually started researching like how to journal. I was literally looking for instructions like, Megan, step 1, sit down, write these things. Step 2, do that. And because I couldn't release myself from that, every time I would go to, make that commitment to myself, I'm going to start journaling. I would go to the store, find a journal that inspired me, sharpen up my favorite pencil, because yes, I'm still a pencil person. And I'd say, okay, on Monday, I'm going to start journaling. And I would sit down and I'd open the journal and then I just kind of wait, like, well, what exactly am I supposed to do? I didn't want to write about like the Dear Diary thing. That felt weird to me. And so I'd always just kind of sit there for a while, not really sure what to write. And then the brain would start churning and I'd start thinking about all the things that I could be doing with my time instead. So I'd just shut the book and forget about it. And the cycle repeated itself for years. Well, several years back, I hired a coach that I was working with. And of course, one of the things she encouraged me to do after getting to know me a little while was journaling. And I struggled with it. I'm like, no, not this again. Well, one day she sent me a beautiful little gift in the mail, and it was a book called 52 Lists of Happiness. And every week, there was a question that you were prompted to write down a very specific list. And I loved that because I was like, oh, this is clear instructions. What I didn't realize is this was journaling in disguise. She had sent me this beautiful book, and I looked forward to every Monday opening up to see what was the question I was going to be asked for the week and what list was I making. And it ranged from things about bringing back old memories to thinking about the future to just thinking about present things in the moment. And I saved that book. Went through all 52 weeks of it. I absolutely loved it. And it was months into this process before I realized this was journaling. Journaling is simply getting pen to paper and writing down ideas, thoughts, memories, whatever it is that you are inspired to connect with. And so I want to share with you 5 benefits that having a journal with whatever that looks like for you is. And then I want to tell you about a great way to get started with a journal if you struggled with it like I have. So first and foremost, and I want to talk about journaling from a productivity perspective, because I was under this false belief for so long that journaling was wasting time, that writing down in a book meant that I wasn't doing the other things on my list. But it is completely backwards. When you take the time, even if it's only once a week to journal, it actually increases your productivity. And here are reasons why it does that. So first, it actually clears out some clutter in your brain, because even if you're good at, keeping your master backlog, which is something I talked about in a previous podcast, and you're feeling very organized, we don't recognize the fact that there's stuff always going on in the back of our head. And when you journal in whatever form that is for you, and you're actually releasing that information from your brain and getting it down onto paper, it frees up that space in your brain to now be open for better focus and clarity. Another great benefit is the increase in creativity. Now, creativity does not mean that you're this amazing artist or painter or something like that. Creativity comes in all shapes and sizes. Creativity might mean the way you write. It could be the way you decorate. It could be launching a new business. It could be physical art. It could be music. Creativity is expressed in a million different ways. And when we can connect with the thoughts that are going on in our head, with our emotions, our feelings, our experiences, both past, present, and future, I guess that's 3 things, it actually increases that creativity that is inherent in all of us. I've already touched a little bit on the increase in productivity, but here is how it can actually do that. When we journal, even if, let's say I were answering one of those questions in that 52 list of happiness, like that could say, hey, make a list of 15 things that bring you joy every summer. That there's an example of just, a list that I could go make. Going through the process of thinking through, okay, it's summertime, I'm kind of putting myself in that experience, and I start thinking about what are the things that bring me happiness in that moment. It starts to bring a lot of clarity for you in your life. Now, for any of you that are watching the video, I do put these up on my YouTube channel. You are seeing my dog here making an appearance. That is her in the background. So sorry if you're hearing the nails clicking. But when you reconnect with those either experiences in the past, things you want in the future, it really helps create good clarity around what works for you, what doesn't, what brings you joy, what sucks the life out of you, what are your hopes, what are your aspirations. And that has a direct connection to actually being productive, because when you have that clarity of how you feel and connect with things, it really helps you prioritize how you're spending your time. And when we prioritize our time on the things that are important, that actually increases our productivity. And journaling brings about, even if it's subconsciously, a tremendous amount of clarity. I know when I went through one of those lists of the 52 weeks of happiness, one of them was writing down a list around a particular holiday of what you enjoyed and what was stressful for you. I had never even thought about it till I went through that list making exercise. And it brought up a lot of kind of aha moments for me to go, oh my gosh, I actually hate doing those 4 things every year for this holiday. Why the heck do I still keep doing them? And it opened up that just crystal clear moment of, I am going to let that go. Like this brings me no joy, yet I'm continuing to invest my time and energy in doing that. It was such a freeing feeling for me. Another amazing benefit with journaling is it actually helps improve your memory, believe it or not. I am good at certain things with memory, but I'm struggle with others. And one of the fundamental reasons why we do struggle so much with remembering things is because we have so much going on up in our head, which is why doing that brain dump process is so important. But when you go through the art of journaling, whether it's Dear Diary style, whether it's a list making or prompting journal style, which I'm going to talk about here in a couple minutes, or whether it's a gratitude journal type of a style where you just want to every evening or morning write down things that you're grateful for, or a journal that is more for sharing your dreams, hopes, and aspirations with. When you write something down on paper, it really helps kind of get it concrete in your head. There's all sorts of studies out there on you. There's a reason why when you study or you're learning new things, if you can hear it, then you can see it, and then you can experience it. That's what really solidifies that new skill or that new memory into your being. Well, when we go through the process of journaling and writing things pen to paper, it helps to make it very concrete in our experience. So oftentimes when I am learning something new or I have an idea around something I want to do, I have learned that if I go straight to a journaling exercise of writing it all down, it gives me more clarity around it. It helps solidify it in my brain. And then it really locks it into my memory bank so that maybe if it's 2 months later before I'm moving forward on implementing it, I have a much clearer picture and I can remember it that much better than if I tried to just pack it all up into my head. So if you are still unsure of journaling and the idea of opening up a book to a blank piece of paper is daunting, I get it. And so I want to tell you about the type of journaling I have moved into that I absolutely love. It's similar to the 52 lists, but it is subtly different. And it is the concept of a prompting journal. I was introduced to my first prompting journal about 18 months ago, and I love it. So a prompting journal is simply a journal where at the top of each page, or maybe every other page, there's just a question that is prompting a response from you. Now, there are lots of different flavors of prompting journals. There are some geared specifically towards parenting or towards business, maybe more towards some more spiritual connections. And then there are prompting journals that really just have you tapping into all different areas of your life. And so it may, pose a simple question of what is your favorite holiday and why? And you just start writing, you just start answering that question. And I love prompting journals because I still struggle with just opening up a blank book and going, I'm not sure what to write about. So I connect with a prompting journal every single week. Now, some prompting journals are meant to be done in order because they're taking you on a discovery kind of experience for yourself. Others are just, here's a bunch of prompts, go find one that you are in the mood to connect with. That is what has worked best for me, as I still consider myself very new on this whole journaling, even though I've been at it now for a few years. I still prefer the prompting journal style, and I prefer them when I can flip through and find a prompt that I'm in the mood to work with that week. So because I believe so strongly in this, and I see that it has taken a math major, techie, geeky person like myself into an experience where I now love this journaling process and I have reaped tremendous rewards from doing it. I've actually put together a little prompting journal of my own for those of you that are ready to kind of dip your toe into the water of journaling. It is called Just Be, a prompting journal for people who think journaling is a waste of time. It has 52 prompts in it. And to help you get started, the goal with this is that you're going to do it once a week for a year. not every day, just once a week. So once a week, you're going to carve out 10 to 15 minutes of time. You're going to open up the book. You're going to flip around until you find a prompt that you're thinking, I'm in the mood to write about that one. I'm in the mood to answer that question. And you are just going to write. It might be one sentence, it might be 10. You might need to overflow into another book because it unlocks who knows what, and you just want to keep on writing. But you will see when you look at this prompting journal, it is small. It has small areas of space because this is something that I want to help all of you that have been struggling to get into the rhythm of journaling, to give you a fun but very easy way to get started. And if you can commit to doing this once a week for about 3 months, I guarantee you, you will start reaping all the benefits that comes along with journaling. And you may find, like I did, that I actually got a second journal that is empty. And once in a while, all of a sudden, I'm inspired to write about something. I can go into that journal and do so. But most of the time, I still need that prompting nudge to help me get connected. Now, I kind of want to leave you with one final image to help you understand really again the way this journaling works. Imagine you spend your entire life constantly in go mode. And I like to use the analogy of think of a really strong river where it is just, going. The current is very strong going downstream. If you wake up every day with your list and the things that you're trying to get done, and you are in constant output mode where you are just in that current and you are going until you collapse in bed at night, how hard is it going to be for ideas, thoughts, messages that come to us in the strangest of times, right? How easy is it going to be for them to come into your experience and come into your brain if your entire headspace is in go, go, go output mode? So if you think about a raging river that's just going, and all of a sudden that little animal that's trying to get upstream, think about those salmon that are swimming, how much harder is it going to be for anything to come up and get into your brain if all you are doing is living your life in an output mode? Journaling is a great place to start, to quiet yourself down, to be still for a minute, to get things out of your head onto paper, to create that room and to create that quiet space for those great little ideas, those memories, those problem-solving things to pop in. There's a reason why we get all those, oh yeah, or I've got this great idea in moments when we're listening to music or exercising or taking a bath, because those are usually the moments in our life where our brain has quieted down and we're not in output mode. Journaling is going to give you that same experience as well. So if you want to check out the Just Be journal, hop on over to my website, megansummerall.com/top planner. I've got the journal available for you there along with the planner. You'll see that they complement each other really nicely. And know that this is still a process I work through. I carve out 15 minutes every week to work in my prompting journal. And then I give myself the openness and flexibility to do more if this is something that I'm ready for. But if you've been resistant to get started on journaling, prompting journals are a perfect place to start. Have a great week, everyone.